It's time for the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Powerful and liberating business strategies you can start in 5 minutes or less. Now, here's your host, Dean Soto.
Hey, this is Dean Soto, founder of freedomin5minutes.com and prosulum.com, prosulum.com. And we're here again with another Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast episode. Today's topic is this: lack of flexibility brings a lot of pain over time. That and more coming up. Good day, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. As you are listening to this, it is a nice, chilly, somewhat frosty morning here in California. Out with the Luna Meister, out with the Luna, my beautiful big Connie Corso, who is running around our property trying to find some mountain lions right now. Hopefully she does not, because I don't want to be attacked by a mountain lion. So if you've been listening to this for a while, you know that one of the things that I've been practicing for a bit has been jujitsu. And that has been such an amazing saving grace for me, something that I absolutely love. I really can't get enough of it. It is such a fun and amazing sport that I just absolutely love it. However, over the past 2 weeks, I have not been able to do it. And it's been really tough, actually, because I am jonesing for it. I'm craving it. It's one of the only real things I do for exercise. And the fact that I'm not able to do it right now is really, really bothering me. And the reason being is, so for the past, I want to say, few years, gosh, when was the last time? So it had to be maybe the last 5 or 6 years. I would get these really bad lower back pains. I want to say it was about 5 or 6 years ago. I was doing squats. I want to say it was 220-pound squats or something like that. Nothing like too fancy, and I was always good. I'm like, yeah, it's awesome. I'm getting a great workout. It was over at Anytime Fitness in Southern California, and I was like, this is great. You know what? I'm going to try and max out. So I started adding weight. I want to say I got up to, I've never been super great at weightlifting, but I think I got up to like 260 or 280, which for me was pretty dang good. So I go, and I think I did like 2 or 3 squats, and then at the very last one, as I was trying to get up to my max, I just felt a pop in my back. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I was able to actually lift the bar back up and put it back up. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to stop. And I didn't really feel anything at the time, but I obviously knew something was bad if you feel any type of pop or whatever. The next day, oh my gosh, I felt like I was literally going to pass out whenever I stood up to walk. Every time I stood up into a standing position, it felt like my back was just being crushed. As soon as I got flat on my back, it still hurt, but as soon as I got up, it felt like it was just getting crushed, and I could not do anything. I'd walk to the bathroom, and that was about it. And even if I sat down, it still felt like it was getting crushed. So that was not comfortable, having to relieve myself, which with no relief at all. So, enough potty talk. So fast forward. So during that time, I actually went to a chiropractor, and the guy is like, well, let me see your range of motion. And he was like, dude, you are the most inflexible guy I've ever met. And he was, doing hamstring stretches and everything. And he's like, I'm pretty sure it's because I'm pretty sure it's not, you didn't get like a slip disc or anything like that. Pretty sure it's because you are inflexible and it's doing something to your hips. And so I started doing some exercises, getting flexible, trying to get more flexible and so on and so forth, and got adjustments and everything. And guess what? Lo and behold, it was working. I wasn't feeling that pain anymore, and it was pretty awesome. So I started running. I started running as my primary source of exercise so that I could kind of move my hips a little bit more and kind of get them all nice and flexible and everything like that. So I was kind of running long distance and doing stretches, and things were great. Things were fantastic, and I just kept on doing that. Well, a few years later, same thing happened again, not with the squatting or anything like that, but I just started feeling, man, my back is starting to hurt. It's getting all tight and everything like that. And then it started getting to the point where I was feeling like it was getting crushed. And yet again, earlier this year, went to a massage therapist who was also a kinesiologist, and she said the exact same thing. She's like, you have no flexibility whatsoever. And speaking of which, I stopped doing all the stretches and things like that beforehand, and so made myself pretty inflexible. She's like, you really have no flexibility whatsoever. What's happening is your hips are getting out of place because of how inflexible you are. And so she started working on me and helping me to stretch, and I went from feeling like I was going to pass out again to going back to being normal, right? Because I started doing all the stretches, started doing everything I should do, and at that time is when I started going and starting jujitsu as well, which made me flexible. And what did I do? What did I do after a few months? I stopped stretching. I stopped getting flexible again. And my body is very, very rigid. And so I stopped getting flexible again. And lo and behold, what do you think happened? Lo and behold, what do you think happened? Well, about 2 weeks ago, I was down on my floor, not able to move. Anytime I got up, I felt like my back was being crushed. And I missed out on several days of work, jujitsu. I've missed out on a whole bunch of stuff that I could have been doing with my family. It was horrendous again. And lo and behold, I went to the massage therapist. She helped stretch me out. I began my stretches again. I used an app called ROMWOD. ROMWOD stands for Range of Motion Workout of the Day. And I love it. It's like $13 a month or whatever, $14 a month. I love it because it's just daily routines for getting more flexible. And once again, I'm walking. I'm here with you. I'm feeling great. I'm not 100% because I definitely have to get back to the flexibility that I was before. But I'm able to move around. I'm able to do things, right? Well, what was causing all this pain? What was causing all this suffering? Was it some major catastrophe where I broke my spinal column, or because I have a slip disc, or because I have some kind of rare disease? No. It literally was because I was so inflexible. My hamstrings are tighter than a tightrope. They are crazy tight all the time, right? And so it behooves me to be as flexible as possible, because my body is literally telling me, hey, if you do not treat me well, if you do not bend me around and make sure that I am a little bit more limber, I will make you aware of how wrong things are in your body, to the point where I will make you lay down on the ground for a day or two and be in a tremendous amount of pain. All of my pain and suffering came from the simple fact that I did not spend time becoming more flexible. Now, why is this important? It's important because very often we, in business, in life, with your family, with your spirituality, with everything, we become so inflexible. We become so inflexible. And that causes a lot of pain, unnecessary pain. Of course, there are things that you have to hold fast to. You know, if you're Christian, you have to hold fast to certain beliefs. If you have a family, you have to hold fast to certain things. Like, you're not going to go and find, a mistress, hopefully. You are going to treat your family well. You're going to treat your wife, your husband well, right? Those are hard, fast rules. However, often we don't listen well to our kids or our wife or our husband or our spiritual director or our business partner or our customers, right? We are very, very inflexible. In fact, in my business with Virtual Systems Architects, I get to deal with a lot of industries that are very, very inflexible, simply because that's the way it's always been done in our industry, right? So like clients like Matt from Camrock, he is amazing because he's taken the oil supply industry and completely revolutionized it in using our VSAs so that these VSAs are able to do the work of other companies. Two VSAs are able to do the work of what would be 20 other people in his particular industry. Not just because of the VSAs, but also because of different systems that he's put in place. But the point is that he's become so flexible in not staying so, and he's not so rigid that, well, because this is the way the industry's always done it, it's the way that we're going to do it, right? He's been able to do that and completely thrive in his business, right? And so this is where even with your body, even with your health, your flexibility matters. My body is a perfect example of that, because if I do not stretch, I will feel pain. So it's important that you are flexible in certain areas, that you are flexible in what you do. Because the more flexibility you have, it doesn't mean you have to go and do everything that everyone says, or just all these different ideas that pop up. But it does mean to actually take them into account and think about them and go, you know what? Yeah, maybe we will implement that. Maybe we won't. We will, we won't, whatever it might be. The more flexible you are, the more success you are going to see, right? The more success you are going to see. The more happiness you're going to have. The more health you're going to have. Imagine yourself at 80, 90. And either your body's really limber, and you can hold your grandkids and you can sit with them, you can stand with them, you can do all those different things. Or you can choose not to be flexible and be in a wheelchair or not be able to bend over. Those are the realities. And those realities are the same with your body, your spirituality, your family, and your business. So become more flexible. So what's one thing this week that you can do to be more flexible? One thing that you can do to get out of the rigidness, to get out of the coldness, the freeze that comes with being inflexible. This is Dean Soto with Freedom in 5 Minutes. Go check out freedomin5minutes.com. We have a lot of cool stuff over there. Business process scorecard. We have a masterclass. If you want to systemize your business and automate your business in as little as 5 minutes a day by using a virtual systems architect, someone overseas who is at a fraction of the cost of somebody here in the States, somebody overseas that can literally transform your business in 5 minutes a day. Go to freedomin5minutes.com, or you can go to prosulum.com, prosulum.com. And I will see you in the next Freedom in 5 Minutes episode.
Thanks for listening to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Now, head over to www.freedomin5minutes.com and register for our free masterclass and discover how to start systemizing and automating your entire business 5 minutes at a time. We'll see you next time on the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast.